from Without a Crystal Ball. All right, it is Friday afternoon. I swear, I am so late to the game. So late, so behind. YouTube is a mess today, but I'm going to do my best to get content out as quickly as I can. And we're going to do a quick follow-up on a story I did about Bunk Bed Jed and his brother Jeremiah moving out of their house, and they are now living in a house that has 3 bedrooms but sharing a bedroom. It was featured on the most recent episode of Counting on TLC. And the Duggars have this interesting history of not allowing their kids typically to move out. Now, in this episode, Jim, Bob, and Michelle insisted that they allow their kids to move out of the house if they want to, but most of their kids decide to stay because they want to save money before they get married. Right, Jim. But the episode had a lot of people in comments on Jana's Instagram starting to question why it is that Jedediah or Jed was able to move out with his brother Jeremiah and she still is living at home. Jana is 30 years old and she has not moved out of her parents' house yet. She still is very much involved with her siblings. She actually just shared a photo of her going bike riding with her younger siblings. And in that specific Instagram post, people got a little bit snarky with her about why she was still living at home while her younger brothers were allowed to move out. And it was in this that her younger brother, Jason, actually got snarky. Yes, that's right. Jason Duggar has an Instagram now. Now, there's been some speculations that Jason Duggar might be courting Kendra's younger sister, Kendra, who is married to Joseph, and that typically an Instagram account would be allowed if someone was courting. Now, Jed was able to start an Instagram account, but he's running for office. So he's running up against an incumbent in Fayetteville or Springdale, and that incumbent typically has a very good probability of winning. It's a highly Democratic area, I guess. So Jed doesn't have the best probability of winning. So people are speculating that once he doesn't win his run for office, he'll basically have to move back in with mom and dad, and that Jim Bob is basically just letting him live on his own for now. And then another thing was that they're sharing a bedroom, which is probably a rule because they have to have accountability friends or accountability partners that keep them from, doing things like having defrauding thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like, what a young guy might do in his room by himself? That's the kind of reason why they might have to share a room so that they don't do those things. It's really ridiculous. Anyways, on Instagram, people started going off on Jana for not being able to live at home, why she hasn't lived at home yet. And so one person said, "I'm sorry, I genuinely don't understand why your younger brothers can move out of the family home, but you can't take a trip with your friends unchaperoned." Now, this is in reference to, she was in Las Vegas last spring where she was visiting with her friend Laura, and they were attending some sort of like home and garden show, and her dad, her husband, oh my gosh, seriously, they're not married. Jim Bob was chaperoning them. So Jim was with them. There was these awkward photos, and people were just like, dude, does your dad have to go with you on all trips? Well, this brought a response from people, and it was Jason Duggar that responded. And this is what Jason said. And he said, "I'm sorry, I genuinely don't understand how you think you know all the trips she takes." Whoa. That's so not Duggar at all. I was shocked when I saw that. Like, usually they do not bite back. They don't respond to negative stuff. They don't get snarky. They don't get rude. They don't get mean. And he's like, "I'm sorry. I genuinely don't understand how you think you know how many trips she takes." Now, he could be very well being protective. I mean, Jason and her, I think, are pretty close. They do a lot of work together. Jason is very involved in the house flipping business. He does a lot of construction. On his Instagram, which he recently opened, a lot of his photos are about like doing different projects that they're working on, different houses that they're rehabbing, different houses that they're remodeling. And so that response alone got 300 likes. I was shocked. And people were just like, I love that the older brothers now can comment. Well, first off, Jason's actually younger. I think Jason's like 20. but he's 10 years younger than Jana. And people were like cheering him on for defending Jana. Now, in fairness, we don't know how many trips she takes. And she did visit Ginger she visited Ginger and didn't take her parents, but Ginger would have Jeremy there. So there would be a male to help supervise, so to speak. And Ginger's married. So she would be able to travel to see another married, a married sister. But if she was going to travel with an unmarried friend like Laura, of course they're going to make her have a chaperone because they don't think that unmarried people should be doing things by themselves, which is why they often have to travel in pairs or travel in groups, or a mom and dad goes. And it's often why you see Jana with her younger siblings or with her brothers that are like in their early 20s. I was just sort of stunned. I mean, a lot of people in here were more just like, why haven't you left the house? Are you escaping? Free Jana. And then someone said, why would she? Jana has a home and a family that she loves her, unlike most of the losers making fun of her. And that person, and then like, are you producing brain cells? So she was getting like a lot of people asking like, why aren't you leaving the house? Why haven't you moved out? Why are you still under your parents' roof? Which is, it's a fair question. She's 30 years old. And I know a lot of you guys are just like, Katie, why do you care? Because it's literally a valid thing that happens on Instagram constantly about her. She's 30. She is not married. She is still living at home. She's still basically running her parents' house, raising her kids. I should call them her kids. In one of the episodes, she's basically homeschooling the girls. So she's the one that's homeschooling. She's the one that's coordinating. She's the one doing art projects with them. She's the one setting things up for them. How much do you want to bet that Miss Joyfully Available is like sitting on the couch eating bonbons like, Jana, could you do some laundry? Jana, Josie needs a new skirt. Would you like to sew that? Jana, my new room needs a bench. Will you build one? I can imagine the honey-do list that Michelle has for Jana is long. And girl, that girl is probably so tired that she doesn't even want to get married. She probably doesn't even want to have her own kids because she's damn near raising an entire family by herself. Because, God forbid, Michelle do anything. I'm just so busy being joyfully available to my husband. I don't have time to do anything else. Gosh. She didn't say that, but that's true. So why can't she move out? Because Jim Bob would never allow it. I know they said it on the show. I know they said that they would allow their children to move out if they wanted to, but he would never permit that. Never. He would never allow one of his daughters to leave the house unless they were married. Period. Like, unless she wants to like flee and basically be like shunned by the family. That's under the only circumstances I could see him ever happening, was she moves out and them being like, see ya, we're never going to talk to you again. A lot of you guys think that Jana sticks around to protect her sisters. A lot of you speculate that there's things going on in this house that are not okay. A lot of you think that Jana is doing these things to make sure that nothing happens to the younger girls because Josh is back living on the property. Josh is back living in the she shed, back in his parents' yard. And so people are concerned that there's still minor children in the house. They have 10 kids still at home. Did you realize that? 10. They still have 10 kids at home. Like, this family's still in the thick of parenting, and I never actually see them parent. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's wild. Anyways, what do you think about Jason actually getting sassy and like clapping back like that? Part of me is like stunned, but I've actually heard some rumors that from people that are in that area that the kids are kind of snotty, dare I say, like arrogant, cocky because of their fame, especially some of the boys, because they've grown up with sort of a silver spoon in their mouth, even though they don't really have that silver spoon, but they're so well known that they've sort of lost their humility. That's what people in that area have said to me. I can't obviously say that's true. And then, there's all these, they're just not as nice from what I've been told as they appear to be on TV. How could you be humble at this point when you've been on TV your whole lives? when your whole life has been for other people's consumption and everyone is so damn interested in what you're doing every single day, like what we cover on this channel. You're like, Katie, why don't you have any other content? Don't you like want to leave the Duggars alone? Well, the Duggars is a show that we cover at Counting On. It's a family we cover. I mean, oh, that's another thing. There's a royal wedding coming up. And I wanted to ask you guys, is this something that you're interested in me talking about? Now, this is a family that I don't normally talk about, but the Rodriguezes. So Jill Rodriguez, she's sort of like your basement, bottom of the barrel fundie. She is not really in the circles. She doesn't necessarily have the money, from what I've told, to be part of the IBLP because it's very expensive. But she hobnobs with a lot of the other fundie families, specifically the Plaths. Her daughters are close to Hosanna and Lydia Plath. But her daughter, Nuri, is getting married to Nathan Keller, who is Anna Duggar's brother. So I've had a lot of requests on, you need to cover the royal wedding because it's kind of a royal wedding in Fundie World because it's like a Keller and a Rodriguez uniting. And everyone says that Jill is super jealous of Michelle Duggar and wants to be so close. And like there was apparently a falling out with the Rodriguezes and the Duggars because Jill actually shared Ginger's wedding invitation online and they were like furious about that. And so apparently like things between the Rodriguezes and the Duggars are not good anymore. And Jill has this like, I don't know, people get irritated in general by Jill because she's just really out there. She's very openly, she's just, you would just have to look at her Instagram. I don't want to drag her right now. I mean, I could do a whole video about that. In fact, I have done videos about that. But there's lots of allegations surrounding the Rodriguezes with like, not feeding their kids and, you know, being grifters and that kind of stuff. But the royal wedding, is that something you're interested in me talking about? Because it's coming up. I think it's like happening this weekend. You can let me know. Nuri and Nathan Keller, Anna's little brother. So Anna Duggar's little brother, Nathan, is getting married. And this couple is a treat. All right, you guys. So what do you think about Jason clapping back? Do you want to know more about Nuri and Nathan? And would you be excited about the royal wedding? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.